Alright, welcome back to another video. It's Monday, September 9 today. We're over here in the shop. I have every Monday off from college, so means I have every Monday to work on stuff. So, over here in the shop, we have no class on Mondays, so it gives me lots of time to work on stuff. So over here, we have a K600 forage blower. If you recall, this blower had a bearing go out. You can see that. Now gone ahead and got this cover open. And you can just see in there, that's the bearing that went out. So, we're gonna go ahead and take all that apart so we can get the right parts for this thing ordered, so we can get it back together and going for corn silage. So we're a little bit away from that yet, but it is good to get going on it because we'll be chopping corn before we know it. So I'm gonna pull that bearing apart, see what we need, and then I'll order it. We also have a couple parts coming for the chopper, just one sprocket, and then we have 2 forage wagons to work on. So yeah, let's get rolling. Alright, so I got everything off of this blower. You can see it all laying there. I managed to get it all off without having to heat anything off the shaft. Really the only bad part of it looks like the bearing. I didn't get it out of here yet, the other part of it. Alright, I got it all apart. Really the only bad part is the bearing. Everything else is fine. Came apart with no issues. It was always well greased, it just wore out. So, yeah. We'll go ahead and we'll get a bearing for this. We might or might not put a new belt on at the same time. I don't think we will. It would be easy, but don't think we will. And at one point I debated putting a second bearing in there, brand new one, but I also don't think we'll be doing that. This blower, the paint looks a little rough on it and everything, but overall it is in pretty good shape. It's one of the newer case blowers, you can tell because of the decals. So yeah, looks rougher than it is, but it's a pretty good blower. So go ahead and get that. Alright, so it's next Monday now. It is Monday, September 16. We're over here with the cab tractor and chopper today. So I spent around an hour this morning getting parts set up, ordered, so that we can get rolling with everything. So this chopper is pretty well ready to go. Mechanically wise, we gotta switch over some parts, the processor and everything, but I ordered, it's kind of hard to see, one of these sprockets this morning, 38 tooth sprocket, because this one's getting pretty wore down. So yeah, that was $250 about for that aftermarket. I called Case and tried to get it there, and they wanted pretty well $400 for it. So yeah, anyway, first things first, we're gonna drop this hay head off the chopper so we can get the corn head put on. Well, I was hoping it would be more graceful than that, but the head is off. There we go. A couple of small little pieces I gotta grab before I drive too far. But 2 pins, that's basically all that holds it in. So yeah, there you go. These things, they always fall off in the grass. They actually just kind of sit like that in there, or something like that. Anyway, there you go. The other thing I gotta finish getting off is this half of the PTO shaft. Now that it's out here, I'll have an easier time. Alright, so we got the chopper over here by the shed. Before we put the corn head on, I want to go over this thing real quick, and I also want to install the processor. So, if you're unfamiliar with what a processor is, or that whole process, basically for haylage, which is what we chopped all summer, we don't have to process the feed that much. It's just kind of grass or alfalfa, just gets chopped up. So it'll come through the head, through the knives here, and into the auger. That's fine. You'll end up with some kind of product like this. And then, yeah, it works. Gets cut up really nice, but corn, silage, the corn kernels, they won't get chopped up as fine as you like to see them. So what we do is we have this thing called a processor on our harvester. Most dairy farmers now are getting to the point where they have this. Not all, but quite a few. So what we do is we install a plate here in the chopper and a belt here, and then all the feed will have to come through here in between these two rollers, and it's a pretty narrow slot. You can see it's kind of hard to fit stuff in there. You are able to fit, you know, kind of the blade of a knife through there, but not much else. So yeah, anything that comes through there will get chewed up, so that'll break down the corn kernels so that the cows can digest them. So it takes a little bit more horsepower to do, but it's worth it. So yeah, on some of the big self-propelled choppers, they'll close the scap right up to the point where if you took kind of your Tim's card or anything and you put it through, you'll actually see, you won't be able to slide it through without the card getting all chewed up. But that's just not worth the horsepower for us. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the belt on here for the processor. I'm going to go ahead and try and get that plate in. I don't know if I'll be able to do it by myself. It's generally a struggle, but anyway, let's get rolling. There you go, I got the belt on. You can see, turns over. I'm going to go ahead and just clean out. See all the feed buildup? It's going to work out all the dirt out of all the slots. The way it does a better job. Got the processor put in. Now I'm just sharpening knives. Alright, so I was getting the knives nice and sharp, but the grindstone here, every time you pull it back, it clicks down. And it is kind of catching in on there now. So my logic is that the grindstone's getting wore down. So yeah, we might have to put a new grindstone on. And then at some point, thinking we'll need a new set of knives. These knives, brand new, have 4 inches of material on them. We're down to 3. But I think if we just bought a new grindstone maybe and put it on, we'd be able to get a little more life out of these knives, but we'll have to see. I just called the guy who comes and fixes stuff for us, so we'll get his opinion on this. Yeah, he's worked on these choppers a long time, so we will see. But I gotta grease it, so there's lots of stuff to do here. So we'll just kind of leave that be for now. I tried turning it up already, but yeah, anyway. Alright, so we got our chopper straightened out. So you can see we reset the grindstone, so it won't hit anymore. So yeah, what we're gonna do, probably after corn silage this year, because we'll have 500 ton of feed to make for corn silage. Pretty well that's around what we make. So we're gonna go ahead and put a new set of knives in this chopper. You can see we're getting pretty close to needing a new set. New knife has 4 inches on it, and these are down to 3 1/4. They're already bumped up ahead as well. So I ordered them. So yeah, we'll try and make it through corn silage. If not, we'll have to set it down for a day and we'll have to throw a new set of knives in. But we will have it handy if we need that. The other thing we've been working on, one of the New Holland wagons. We're trying to get to the bottom of an issue. So the issue is we keep breaking PDO salves. You see here, it just twists and snaps off. So we're going through and we're getting a bunch of new stuff, so we can properly troubleshoot it. See over here, we're getting a new belt. This one burnt through here, and there's another spot on the other side where it's burnt through as well. Then we're gonna see, we might have a bad gearbox in there, some bearings, something somewhere isn't right. So the guy who we've come out to fix stuff, he is looking after this wagon, trying to get it going right. That way it'll stay reliable. But yeah, I ordered a whole pile of parts today. Probably close to $800 worth of parts between the chopper, this wagon, and the blower. And yeah, there's still a little bit more to do on this wagon, but we'll get that sorted out. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. But we'll have a bunch of parts here soon enough and a bunch more stuff to throw together. Alright, so it's Monday, September 23 now. This is hopefully the last Monday of working on equipment before corn silage. Have around 4 hours this afternoon to get everything going. So all of our parts came in. We have our bearing for the blower, our sprocket for the chopper, belt for the forage wagon, 2 K600 blower belts, along with this piece of tubing here for a wagon PTO shaft. Believe it or not, this piece of tubing is more expensive than 3 belts, this sprocket, and this pretty well. They're close. They're about the same. But I believe the tubing ended up being slightly more. The belts were fairly cheap. These ones, this belt here was a little more money. The sprocket costed a decent hunk of change, and the bearing is pretty cheap. So, yeah. This will be for our wagon shaft. I'll have to weld it on. I'm hoping, I don't know, it might be too short to get 2 wagon shafts made out of this, unfortunately. But yeah, it's pretty well $400 shaft. So pretty crazy, but anyway, we're gonna go ahead and work on the blower first. We're gonna try and get this bearing on. I never ended up getting any sandpaper for that shaft and the blower in here, unfortunately, to sand down the shaft, but we might have to get a little creative to be able to get the bearing on. Might just have to find some sandpaper. But yeah, anyway, there you go. I got the bearing put on that blower. So we just have to grease it. I'm gonna go ahead and grease it really quick. And then it is all ready for corn silage. So we have a 16 by 65 tower silo to fill with this thing, so it'll get used quite a bit. But corn silage is really easy to blow, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how much feed this thing can eat. Yeah, it's running really good for haylage, so now it should run really good for corn silage. See, no more play. Perfect. There you go. Grease the blower. All ready to go. This handle now too is nice and tight. So, yeah, we should be good to go. Notice there's a little bit of wear on this belt here. There's a couple of small cracks in it, but we should be fine. If it does break, it breaks, and we will put a new one on. This one shouldn't be too hard to put a new one on, just looking at it. So, yeah. Anyway, we should be fine. That silo doesn't really hold that much feed, and corn silage blows really easy. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the blower all done. Alright, we got the chopper over here now. Gonna go ahead and replace this sprocket. So, yeah, take the old one off, put a new one on. This chain here is about the only original chain left on the chopper. I've already gone ahead and replaced the chain under this cover, along with last fall I replaced these two. So, yeah. Gotta oil the chains, but now they're really easy to get out with no head on the chopper. And then I'll have to go over the corn head, just oil everything. So, our corn head for this chopper we rebuilt a couple years ago. Initially, I believe it was 2018 that we bought this harvester. So what, 6 years ago? We didn't make near the amount of corn silage we made now. We only would plant a 20-acre field, and that would be all we would chop. Or not even all of it, the rest would get combined after that silo was full. But now, we make actually more silage in ag bags than what that small silo holds. So, what we did a couple years ago is we completely went over and rebuilt our 2-row corn head. So now it's running pretty good for us. It's in pretty good shape. Yeah, but chopper's pretty dirty right now. I really wish this thing could sit inside a little more, but we are a little cramped for said space, so it only gets put inside probably half of the year this year. It's been outside quite a bit, which is a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to put that sprocket on. There you go, I got the old sprocket off. It did not want to come off the splines too freely. I also don't have a pulley puller, so they're pretty hard to get off without a puller, some of these sprockets. But you can see enough scraping away at it. The pry bar from behind, I managed to get it out. So yeah, I'm going to put this new sprocket on along with this backing plate here again. Yeah, I figured I'd go ahead and put them both together over here, and then I'll slide it on and put the last one through that center bolt. So yeah, here we go. Alright, I finished feeding cows for the night now. You can see I'm in the silo here, in the small silo that we're going to fill. And it's pretty dark. My flashlight died. But yeah, you can see we're setting silo doors. Working on the last one here. 3 of them that are set at the top, so we're right around 60 feet up in the air right now. So yeah, I'm gonna set this door, and then we will be good. I didn't show you too much of it, but chopper's all ready to go too. I went ahead with the help of Mom and Dad, and I put on the corn head, and I greased and oiled the corn head. Alright, I know it's not on topic with kind of the rest of this video of getting equipment ready, but we're out here picking up the last of the hay bales for 2024 that we're going to make. And I wanted to show you something I thought was kind of neat. So, if you recall, the outside of this field was baled before, along with the middle, and then we let the rest of this field sit for dry hay. So we did that. What I find interesting though, you can see over here, this is darker green. So the regrowth here is a lot better, where the hay was baled up and picked up around 6 days sooner than over here. So yeah, thought that's kind of neat. This row here down the middle too, I recalled I raked kind of all the short rows into one big row. You can see this row here where that bale is, how much poorer the regrowth is versus even this. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I always talk about when you rake hay, you're raking along the surface, and at some point you're kind of working the dirt a little bit. It's not ideal, but kind of every rake will do it. This field is raked twice. We maybe could have gotten away with once, but I raked it once, and then while I was gone to college, Mom looked at it and Mom raked it another time. So yeah, but these windrows laid out for 6 days after that was baled, so they were here for 8 days. So it definitely kind of hindered the regrowth of the alfalfa here. Yeah. Anyway, that's how it goes, but kind of wanted to show you because it's kind of neat. Anyway, we're going to finish picking up these bales, and then we'll be all done with the bale wagon for this year. Very neat. Alright, it's now Thursday, September 26th. Another day off school, another day tearing into equipment. See here, this belt here is all burnt up. So our farm mechanic is coming out to work on this wagon. Wanted a new belt on here, and then of course a new PTO shaft because the old one's all twisted up. There you go. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is take all this apart so we can get the new belt on. It's gonna take a little bit, which is unfortunate, but yeah. So there's a little bit of something to do on every piece of equipment, it seems, except the King Ford's wagon over there. This needs to be greased. It's not a big deal, but both New Hollands have stuff they need done. Dad worked on the other New Holland wagon, fortunately, because running out of time to get everything rolling. They've just been very busy with school. So yeah, anyway, there you go. I got all the hardware off. This bearing, I think, is loose enough that I could just pull it off. And then if I pull this off without losing, it's just grease, without losing anything, then I'll be able to go ahead and get the new belt on. Really hoping I'll be able to get the belt underneath that without having to take this one apart. Got the old belt off. The new belt's a little different. So what I did is I flipped it inside out the other way, just so we still have a smooth edge riding along. So, problem is, New Holland quit supplying parts for these wagons long time ago. So we're kind of always in a bit of a pinch to get parts. So I got that aftermarket. But yeah, it's just not the same. Kind of sucks, but anyway, that's what we're going to deal with. I'm just going to run the belt the other way. Ideal, no, but I don't know. We just got to live with it. So, yeah.